Welcome to Willow Creek, a small town where change is a rarity. The rhythm of life here is as predictable as the setting sun. Adults clock in hours at the local factory, children trudge to school, and the elderly swap tales of yesteryears on their porches. It's a dance everyone knows the steps to, a monotonous waltz that keeps spinning in circles. Enter Skyy, a young man in his mid-20s who was all too familiar with this dance. His days were spent at the town's grocery store, moving goods from shelves to carts, then back to shelves, in an endless loop. He yearned for a break from the monotony, for a breath of fresh air, but every night, as he sat on his porch staring into the familiar landscape, he would concede to the reality of his life. One day the monotony was interrupted. A new face appeared in town. This man was tall, with raven hair and eyes as green as the town's surrounding meadows. He carried an air of confidence that was alien to the humble town of Willow Creek. This man was Grant, and Skyy was immediately intrigued by him. Grant, with his charming smile and easygoing nature, ended up in Skyy's checkout line. He was the spark that Skyy had been longing for. Their conversations were full of laughter and shared stories, a welcome respite from the humdrum of Skyy's daily life. As the days turned into weeks, Skyy found himself falling for Grant. He was everything Skyy had been yearning for. But just as Skyy was accepting his feelings, he learned that Grant was merely passing through. The news was like a punch to the gut. The man who had brought color into his life was leaving. Yet, Grant promised to return. This gave Skyy a glimmer of hope. His days in Willow Creek felt even more monotonous without Grant, but the promise of his return kept him going, and return he did. Grant was back, not just for a visit, but for good. He had fallen for Skyy and the charm of Willow Creek. Their bond deepened into love, a love that turned Skyy's monotonous life into an adventure. Every day was a new experience, every mundane task a joyous endeavor. Years passed, and their love story culminated in a beautiful wedding in the town square. As they swayed to their first dance as husbands, Skyy reflected on how love had transformed his life. The humdrum town of Willow Creek had become a place of joy and love, all thanks to Grant. In a town where everything seemed perennial, Skyy's love story with Grant was a beautiful anomaly. It was the change he had longed for, a change that made his life worth living, and he wouldn't have it any other way.